Welcome to Poemify Podcast. At Poemify Podcast, we give you the best of African poetry, music, and creative arts discussed. In other words, we amplify and redefine African literature. Once again, welcome to Poemify Podcast. Happy listening.
How can one maintain friendship for a long time? I've been thinking about how we define strong friendships. What solidifies the bond? Shared affinities, shared past, shared knowledge of personhood, a deep sense of feeling accepted by the other, or is it something else? I've heard a lot of people say that their dearest friends are the ones who ultimately stuck around, the ones who stayed amidst the madness. And I get it, I totally do. That is a prerequisite more often than not. But in a world where friendship is more virtual than physical, how do we attract good friends and how can one sustain the bond? Joining us today is Ella Obans, the author of The Art of True Friendship, and we'll be talking about the importance of friendship and how to attract the right friends. Importantly, how to even be the right friends for others. If you're ready, let's go. Good to have you here, Ella. It's good to have you on Poemify Podcast. How you doing? So, your recently published book, Art of Friendship. We're coming to it, but we just want to know more about the author. Ella, can you tell us more about you? Who is Ella?
Hello, Tosin. Good day. It's such a privilege to be here today. Sure, I wrote the book, The Art of True Friendship. And who is Ella? Ella is the very bright light of the world, an embodiment of blessing that has extended blessings to others. I don't think if there are other words that best describe me other than light.
Light. That's nice. Nice to meet you, Light, Ella. Alright. I usually ask this question to any creative I have interviewed. What are your hobbies? What do you like doing? What makes you happy? Makes the adrenaline rush? What gives you joy?
Okay. Yes, I usually call myself Light because my identity is different from what I do, because I can't say I am so and so. That is what I do, but my identity is the very bright light of the world. So, my hobbies, I have hobbies. Like, most of my hobbies are majorly reading. I like reading, though sometimes I snap out of it, especially when I'm reading books that are not so interesting to me. I love writing. I don't know how to interchange both. Like, I love these two things so much that I don't know how to pick one over another. Yes, and that's why I would say that's part of the reasons I ended up as a writer and of course as an editor. Yes, I write, I edit. So, other hobbies, I have other things I do when I'm free, like volunteering, like teaching. I also love teaching. Yes, I do love teaching, in as much as sometimes it can be overwhelming, but it's fun for me to see someone move from a novice to an experienced person just because I share the knowledge or shaded the light in a certain area of their life.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Next question. What are your likes and dislikes? I know everybody has something they do not want others to do to them. What are yours?
My likes and dislikes, majorly, they revolve around my values. I value honesty. I value knowledge, I value people, I value my family. So there are things I like too, despite the fact that part of it are things I love, like it has grown beyond likeness to love. Yes, I like nature. My dislikes, majorly, I always highlight on what I don't like. Yeah, so that someone would easily know that the opposite is what I like. Or anyone who cares though. So my dislikes are majorly dishonesty, apathy to work. I don't like dishonesty. It doesn't matter how brutal or blunt the truth is. Once you are able to tell me, I am most fulfilled and willing to do something about it if it is within my powers. Yes, and I dislike apathy to work, like when you know, or let's just say lack of responsibility, someone that doesn't want to take responsibility for something. It could be a mistake, it could be a natural thing. It doesn't even have to be about me, it just have to be about the person. Acknowledging the fact that you needed to take care of something, or to do something, or to correct something, or to adjust something, and you intentionally go on to do it without wasting time. There are a few more likes and dislikes, like foods I like and the rest of it. But majorly, I like, my likes revolve around my values. I like intelligent people also. I like to be around them. I like to communicate with them. I like people who are not so shy to communicate, to express themselves, to communicate in a most empathic way, and not just speak carelessly because you wanted to say something. So it just, my likes and dislikes revolves around my values. Thank you.
I like the part where you said you like nature. I am also a lover of nature, anything natural. It just reminds us of how wonderful God is, and how beautiful, and how artistic, and how detailed He is. No artist fits the greatest artist. Moving on to your book, what exactly inspired you to write The Art of True Friendship? I just want to know, because there are 1,001 things you can think of to write a book about, but what really inspired you to write The True Art of Friendship? What experience did you have that triggered the book, or what really inspired you to write The Art of True Friendship?
Thank you, Tosin. Truly, you captured the concept of, part of the concept why nature should be loved, right? It displays a lot about the goodness of God. Really, I always look forward to immersing myself in it. Okay, on The Art of True Friendship, as someone who is in the consultancy sector, where I teach people how to discover themselves, discover their purpose in life, launch out, and even earn from it, there is always that intimate session I have had with people, which has drawn me into their inner parts, their being, their personality, who they are beyond who I have seen in the coaching classes. And I have noticed that beyond people yearning for discovery of who they are and what they are on this earth to do, beyond people striving to communicate their most dominant idea and thoughts to the world, which is what I coach people to do through prophetic, through professional public speaking and creative writing. I noticed that people also yearn for connection, and thinking deeper into it, I realized that it's not just people, myself inclusive, because it dawned on me at a point that no matter how much I know, no matter how much I am willing to give, if there is no one to receive it, is as good as nothing. And this goes beyond my assignments, giving people knowledge and all that. No matter how much I know about friendship, no matter how much I care about people to sustain friendship with them, if there are no people available to receive and as well reciprocate what they've received, it's going to come to that point where even myself and every other person would lose interest in connection. And that is why we have high rates of depression, suicide, and whatnot. Majorly, I have a personal story which I won't be giving so much details about it here because it's already in the past. there is no point bringing it in the present. I had a friend, I had a couple of friends though, but I was quite close to a certain friend of mine. And it's not the first time someone had to do such things. I can't wrap my hands around it, but for the fact, I'm not trying to blow my trumpet, but for as far as I know, I'm a good friend. I'm not trying to blow my trumpet. I am a good friend, very tolerant and willing to be there for my friends. But unfortunately, as much as I am always there to listen, to understand, to help, I think at a point I didn't receive that level of commitment from my friend. Not because I was all good, there wasn't a mistake from my end, but I tried to fix it. But the friend of mine was not interested in whatsoever I was trying to do. I won't put all the blames on her. I won't put all the blame on her. But for me, that inspired me. Before now, after we were acquainted so close, I was so eager to share how we have been able to sustain a friendship of about 3 to 4 years, right? Without problems. We're able to resolve issues as they come. So I was so eager. The dream was to co-author the book with the supposed friend, right? But things went south at a point and two of us could not manage it. So I begrudged myself. I shared it in the book, The Art of True Friendship. I begrudged myself. I felt so unworthy to write the book, The Art of True Friendship. Not because I am not a good friend, but I felt like I have failed already. I have failed. Despite the fact that few other of my friends, I have been my best behavior and conduct towards them, and of course loyalty as friends. I realized that particular friendship that virtually everyone who knew me knew about could not proceed. And for me to come out suddenly without telling everybody what happened, which I was not interested in telling anybody what happened, because I just feel things that happened in the past should be left there. It is in the past for a reason. So I was so skeptical about what people would think of me. But at a point, I had to snap out of that emotion. I stopped blaming myself. I stopped blaming the lady. I picked my lessons. Like I said, in as much as she wronged me in various ways, I wasn't the saint there either. I could have wronged her, even though I couldn't wrap my head around what I did, but she wronged me in various ways. But I had to stop blaming myself for allowing such person into my space, and for allowing her hurt me. I stopped blaming myself for maybe being the bad person there without knowing, or doing the wrong things without knowing. And I had to also forgive the friend of mine. And I told myself that life is all about mistakes, lessons, and getting it right. I might have failed in the friendship might have failed, but I have so much knowledge. I've shared as article, I've shared as audio messages, and even video messages, and it's inspired, it's blessed, and it's instructed people. So why shouldn't I share the message with the world? So when I realized that the more I waited to be worthy, to become worthy of writing the book, the more I tend to banter myself, bully myself by myself over a spilled milk. I had to snap out of that emotion. Nobody asked me to. Nobody told me to do so. I had to tell myself the truth. and I have a fourth book which should have been officially launched before this Art of True Friendship. But people kept on reaching out to me. I don't know, maybe God have orchestrated that this book should be out there blessing lives. People kept on reaching out to me, bringing all manner of friendship problems. Seriously, it was so intense in the month of February, and I was like, I have written almost a whole book on this, and if it were to be out, these people should have gained clarity beyond question they don't even know they have. Because one thing about books and information is that it brings you to the knowledge of things you don't even know you needed. So I told myself that this book must be out on the 14th of February. The initial plan was to just release it just like a random book, right? And just move on with my life. Because entirely my niche is not in the relationship. So I was a bit more skeptical and not so sure whether I should put out the book so people don't forget what I represent. But I was like, God was not stupid when He gave me the book idea. So I started writing. I rewrote this book because initially it was meant to be written by two people, and I didn't tell the supposed friend of mine that she was going to join me in writing the book. I just needed the friendship to advance in a certain age so we can actually talk and people would listen and not see us as nuisance. Of course, a wise man said, if you want to learn from someone, if you want to learn something, learn from someone who has results in that area. So I knew that if that lady would have to join me in authoring the book as I have proposed in my mind, she would have been able to pass a certain level of growth with me or with every other person when it comes to friendship. And because it's first my idea as a book, I needed to be sure before I share the thought. And it never happened. And God had to even tell me, I gave you a vision, I gave you an idea, and you are looking for someone to do it with you. If I had wanted someone to do it alongside you, I should have asked you so. How come you are bringing your own strategy in my own? How come you are bringing your own strategy in my own vision for you? So I had to apologize to God, and that was where my forgiving myself started. And that was when I felt so worthy. I felt so courageous and confident to share my knowledge, the insight I have grown to have acquired in the aspect of friendship. I have a friend that has been my friend for over 17 years now, and she's a bit older, but it's also a confirmation when God was pointing out the level of the kind of people I have in my circle and how I'm able to tolerate them, how I'm able to be with them despite their flaws. And God was showing me various reasons why I am qualified to write the book. And sincerely, as of today, 30th March, not almost 100 copies has been ordered. We start tomorrow. We will begin distribution by Friday. That is just how much I have seen that God is interested in educating people on the art of true friendship. Friendship is so dear to me. Friendship is so dear to me, very much dear to me. And I know that more people want to stay connected. They want to sustain the connection they have with people, but they are not sure how to do so. So one of the passion and the zeal at which I wrote the book is so that more people would be exposed to the knowledge and leverage it for a desired result. That was a long one, right? But I had to say it. I had to be that detailed so that, because it's a bit more sub questions in one, right? Thank you, Tosi.
Oh, Ella, that's That's nice, and that's a very, very touching experience. I guess a lot of people too have passed through the same thing you have, and a lot of people would. Okay, going into the book, I just have a question to ask. To you, or according to your book, who is a true friend?
Thank you, Tosi. Definitely. So, true friendship to me is a situation where you have someone who understands you, someone who is willing to help you, accept you the way you are, and create environment for authenticity and vulnerability. For me, true friendship is summed up in 3 words: sacrifice, vulnerability, and authenticity. I believe that when we talk about true friendship, we should talk about where people can no longer hide anything. They will be willing to share their deepest concern without the fear of being judged or misunderstood. Even the good book had to say, a good friend who sticks closer than a brother, who can find? It means that true friendship can almost replace the job and the role of a family member. A wise man also said that friends are your family without your last name. And in other words, it means that a friend can easily merge up, they can easily fit in as a family member, because I'm not just any kind of friend or just a random friend, a true friend. So that is why I had to say that a friend is someone who understands, tolerates, someone who your value and theirs align, and those of your value and theirs which doesn't align, they tend to respect it. That is why I summed it up in 3 words: sacrifice, vulnerability, and authenticity. So it encompasses a lot, because you will be willing to sacrifice that you don't entirely like a certain thing, but because that person is your friend, you won't have to lower yourself or compress yourself to fit into their value. But because you know it is something you can adapt to, you let them have their way and respect that choice of theirs. And authenticity is what our present time, what we majorly lack in the present time, because everyone wants to act, everyone is acting, everyone wants to show off their best. And that is why we have people who are overwhelmed, people who are isolated, because people are so scared to be vulnerable. They are so scared to be authentic. They don't want to be tagged too loud. They don't want to be tagged too quiet. They don't want to be tagged too short, too dull, and the rest of it. So they tend to wear a mask. And if you will wear a mask before everybody in your life and everybody you encounter, that means you do not have a true friend in your life. Because with true friends, you can be as authentic as possible, and you can be vulnerable. You can share your deepest concern without the fear of being judged or having the information shared with a third party. So I define it in that 3 words. Thank you.
Nice insights, especially the part of the mask, like putting on a mask every time. That means you're not really around friends. That's actually a nice revelation. That's not the right word to use, but that's true. If you're not comfortable around those you call your friends, I don't think that all those people qualify as friends, or you being authentic or truthful to yourself as an individual. Thank you so much, Ella. So I didn't know that making friends requires an art. What is the art about? How do we go about making friends? Do you leave the friends alone, or your life after meeting new ones, or how can you like create a balance?
Thank you, Tosin. Okay, eventually, I believe that life is lived on principles, and it has always worked for me. And whatever I want to learn, whatever I desire to acquire, I first of all ask myself, what is the principle that makes this work? Strategies, new knowledge can come, but principles does not change. Hence, the word act in the definition of true friendship, in the title of the book, The Art of True Friendship. So, the art is majorly on the base that there are vital things that are non-negotiable. You must have, you must do, and you must continually acknowledge and carry out if true friendship is what you want to subscribe for. And that is why I usually summarize that if you are gunning for the art of true friendship, then you must understand that nobody wants a liability in their life. So you have to start by knowing yourself. The moment you know yourself, you discover your purpose in life. It gives you a clear knowledge of the kind of people you should be looking for as friends. I mentioned in my book that people can have money, have connection, be popular, be celebrities, and not still be good friends or true friends, especially to a certain individual. It doesn't make them bad, but the moment, let's say for instance, someone who sings as their life purpose, as a means at which they are sharing their gifts and blessing lives, or educating or inspiring or even entertaining the world, is singing. And another person's purpose on earth is yoga. Their purpose on earth is to be a monk, to always be in a quiet space. Do you think that such people can pass for true friends? They will always conflict each other. Not because music and entertainment is bad, and not because being a monk or being in the yoga space or whatever, teaching people how to do yoga and the likes is bad, but because there are two things that doesn't go hand in hand. A music person would always want their music very loud, listening, paying attention to all manner of sound, getting acquainted to it. And a monk or someone who does a lot in yoga will not want some kind of music. Most times they won't even want music at all. So those are part of the things I treated at the part 1 of the book, because I had to make people understand that people can be good but not good for you. So you have to discover yourself and weigh your mindset on friendship. What are your values? I cannot be friends with arrogant people. I think the first thing that qualifies people to be acquaintance, to me even, is for them to be polite. I don't mind what they have or what they don't have. I like people who are polite, because it shows that the person has the understanding that we are first human before age, class, skin color and whatnot separated us. We are all human. We are first human, and we ought to be treated well. So the art is majorly the principles that guides it. It's when we talk about friendship, you can do it randomly, but when we talk about true friendship, it has to be intentional. It has to be deliberate. There are things you inconvenience yourself to do, all solely because you want to cultivate the true friendship. And this is not me encouraging fakeness or you acting, trying to be who you are not. And that's why you must know yourself enough. I also discussed about self-awareness, because when you know yourself, you will know what you can do with ease. And what you can do for yourself with ease and people will determine the kind of people you would attract and the kind of people you should allow in your space. I no longer allow insensitive people to be my friends, because I know that I am a sensitive person. I am aware of every single thing. Like, if you are texting me now and suddenly there is no longer vibe, or I know that you are disinterested in the conversation, I would know. You won't write it to me. It doesn't matter how you hide it. I will know. When people talk cluelessly, it gets, I get it. They might just hide on the mask, on they are just playing, but I still get it. So those are part of me, that I don't tend to be in the space of people who don't even mind about my well-being, regards to being sensitive. So I believe it's an art. You have to understand yourself in order to understand people, because that way you will know your limits, things you need to do, things you need not to do, people you should accept into your life and people you shouldn't accept into your life. Because one thing about valuable people is that once people see you are valuable, everybody would want to be in your space, and most of them is just to come and take from you, which is okay. But it has helped me realize that anybody can come to me, learn from me, laugh with me, but not everybody can be in my circle. So that is why I called friendship an art. It has to follow a certain sequence. There are a few things you have to acknowledge and truly maintain it through the course of life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ella. Thank you so much, Ella. Thank you for telling us about the negotiables and the non-negotiables. We understand, and I really get the hang of it. I hope our listeners do too. Okay, so the next question is, are there any red flags that one needs to look out for in friendship? What are the red flags, if there are any?
Thank you, Tosin. Yes, there are red flags to look out for in friendship. I think I already stated one of it: insensitivity. People that are not sensitive to how you feel before they act. People that are not considerate about you. All they are concerned about is how things can benefit them. If it's not in their favor, they don't care. And also disrespect and dishonor. Everyone, despite our similarities, cannot be the same. I had to even caption that as a chapter title: red flags in friendship. Is there? Everyone will not have the same thing with you despite the similarity. And that is where you must respect people's choice. Respect their choice to choose a certain style of outfit, so far it is not immodest. Also, dishonesty. Dishonesty is also a red flag in friendship. Someone who cannot tell you the truth. What is the truth about the friendship? It's all about, it's fake, right? It's not true anymore if you cannot be honest. Also, self-centeredness. A lot of people are only looking out for what they can gain, and that is why we have rare true friendship. People are being strategic today. If there is nothing they would gain from you, my closest friend is not even on social media presently. Like, he's not even a social media person, but this person have always been there, ensuring that I am thriving, and to the best of my ability, I've always tried to contribute in the best way I can. So imagine that you can't even sacrifice for someone you call your friend. It is useless to call the friendship a true one, because it's fake. It's solely based on pleasures, which are types of friendship I defined in the book with the knowledge I gained from one of the renowned philosophers. He defined friendships based on pleasure, based on importance, and based on virtue. And true friendship is a friendship based on virtue. Is it that there will always be one of it existing among individuals, they just have to be true to themselves. If you are being strategic, then we can easily call it an acquaintanceship and not true friendship. So red flags: self-centeredness, lack of honesty, someone who cannot say the truth, disrespect, someone who disrespects or dishonor you. They don't even honor your calling. Whatever you do, they don't honor it because they feel it's not them. And when they are doing theirs, they expect you to be all over the places doing things for them. We can sometimes not be able to be there for our friends, but when it becomes the order of the day, you are always busy, you always have excuses. It shows that you are not committed to that friendship, because when we talk about sacrifice, it has to cost you something. So your friend should be able to sacrifice for you. Maybe not all the time, but at least most of the times. And we also have bad habits. There are friends that have the habit of not returning calls. They don't care about what you're doing. And one thing about friendship is you being authentic, like trying to have a dialogue. And it becomes a problem when such person is not willing to adjust. Sometimes it might not even be about the other individual. It might even be about a certain person outside, at place of work, a character. Maybe they steal, maybe they talk down on other people, and you are bringing it to their notice that is not the right thing to do, and they are so ignorant to admit it. And there are so many red flags I shared there, but these are the major ones I feel everyone should look out for. Also, mental breakdown. Today, all in the name of cruise. In 2023, as far as I know, people bully others all in the name of cruise. And one thing about this is that not everyone have the level of mental strength to be able to accept or wave off such kind of insensitive talk, all in the name of joke or cruise. So preferably, if anybody can throw you, catch cruise on you, right, or even talk down on you, what you do and all that, your friend should not be one of them. People will talk about you, people will talk bad about you, they will talk about dissatisfaction even though you tried your best to please them. But when it comes to your friend, any true friend should not be found in a room where their friend is being talked down on and they kept mute. They shouldn't be that person that tell their friend that, oh no, you are not good enough. Instead, you could tell them, you are doing well, but I think you can upgrade in this. Okay, I will pay for a certain course on a certain field for you to upgrade yourself. What are friends for? So that's what true friends do. You honestly give them your reviews and critics in the most empathic way, without messing up their mental health, all in the name of being blunt and being honest. Honesty can be said in a way that it will no longer hurt. Not all truths hurt. Truth only hurts when the wrong person or the right person is sharing the truth or explaining the truth in the wrong manner. And that is why I also mentioned that one of the ways of nurturing friendship is through communication. You must learn how to communicate, and it goes beyond talking. You must learn how to talk, when to talk, and what to say, and what to respond, when not to talk. Because not talking and keeping mute is also part of communication. Thank you.
Yeah, correction is important, but how we correct is very important. So we need to correct our friends in love. And yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you very much. Our next question: how can conflicts be resolved in a friendship? How can we resolve conflicts? No matter how the conflict comes in, what way it comes, how do you feel it's best to resolve conflict? Is it yelling at each other, or replying each other at the heat of the moment? Well, how do we resolve conflicts in friendship?
Thank you so much. One thing I have come to realize is that how we communicate matters a lot in how well a conflict or disagreement would be resolved. It doesn't matter even if at work, even if it is in friendship, even if it is among strangers. There is little or nothing that would be achieved if people engaged in conflict do not understand the ethics of communication. Friendship thrives on the rock of communication. Is non-negotiable, and that is one of the things I have been very, very conscious about teaching my students in YTW in our academy. You cannot just write, you cannot just speak. You have to learn how to speak, when to speak, what to say, and to whom you are saying it to, because whoever is going to listen to you, read from you, hear from you, will always determine what you will say and how you will say it. So when it comes to friendship, conflicts are inevitable, but how you are able to resolve it will determine if your relationship would be sustained or will it tear down. I remember this said friend of mine, what separated us to almost becoming strangers is not something so tangible, it's just the way it was communicated. I told people, I wrote in my book that at a point I was like, if you cannot be this honest to me, then you can't be my friend. I might have said it out of anger, but that was how I felt at that point. And if I had withheld that word, and if I had not said it, maybe we wouldn't have been strangers now, because we are not enemies. Yeah, we wouldn't have been strangers or not so close as we used to be. But because I didn't communicate well, and she didn't communicate well, it has to end. And that is one thing I've learned to apply among the rest of my friends. There are times you have to keep quiet, not because you don't have something tangible to say, not because you are not right, but there are things you ignore. There are things you keep quiet and maybe discuss it when the argument has toned down a little. Even the Bible had to say, if you are angry, sin not. A wise man, I'm not getting the quotation exactly how it is quoted in the book of Proverbs, but he said that a wise man, even when he's quiet, is regarded as a foolish man, even when he's quiet, is regarded as wise. And a wise man is not consumed by his anger. So to say that you don't allow your anger, your displeasure, your sadness determine how you react. And that is also part of what I wrote in my book, my first book, Be the CEO of Your Emotions. If you don't know how to manage your emotions, especially when it is at its peak, it doesn't matter if it's excitement, if it's love, if it's sadness, if it's sorrow, if you don't know how to manage it at its peak, the emotion will rule you. That's why you have to learn how to be the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of your own emotion. It's going to go a long way in helping you at work, at church, at social gatherings, and every other places, and most importantly in your friendship. I also discussed about emotional maturity. So it boils down to communication and self-awareness. That is one of the things that help everyone manage conflicts. Couples that are not together, that are divorced, sometimes you will notice that what separated them is not so tangible, but the problem is in how they manage their communication skills, how they were able to communicate to one another. And communication goes beyond talking. It involves talking, listening, and responding in the most empathic way as possible.
Thank you so much. Very true. Communication is very key. Like, I think the relationship cannot flourish if there's no effective communication. Communication is not just speaking but understanding. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ella. Okay. So how long does it take for one to have or to become a true friend? Do you have to wait for a year to call someone your true friend, or to know someone is your true friend, or 10 years? Like, what makes someone a true friend?
I'm so glad you got my point. I even had to dedicate a chapter in the book Art of True Friendship to discuss on conflict management. Is very, very important. The aspect of the question you asked, how long does it take to consider one as a true friend? I don't think it's tied to time to a certain extent. Sometimes it will be tied to time, but there is this popular saying, the school of thought would say, is not about how long you've known someone. It's about who came and never left. So it still boils down to the fact that it might not entirely be about time, but the attributes, the commitments, the intentions the person have been able to make clear. And in my book, I was able to tell people that when I connect with people, I find out who they used to be, how they were able to navigate connection with other people. And most times, these people will not even know. It doesn't have to be love relationship. They won't even know I'm trying to know that information from them. I just want to know. I could easily ask them, how is your relationship with your sister? Or even, how were you able to connect with people at this level? I will even ask you, what does it feel like to be friends with others? Do you have a best friend? Are you guys still together? Do you have a closest friend you wish they are still your friend till date? Why do you like your best friend? These little intangible questions that almost feel casual is where some people tell the truth, because people would easily tell you what fluctuated in their previous friendship. From there you would know the kind of person they are. Are they people who are easy to adjust to mistakes, to their wrongs, to apologize, to fix it even when they can't fix it? Are they people that can easily repent from their wrongs? Or are they people who hold on to wrongs because it's their personal ideology, so they are not letting go? It doesn't matter if it's good or not. So sometimes I have to give people time to prove to me that they are true. But sometimes some people easily win that space in the split of time, because they tend to show you so much about them, something that is so true that you can't help it but know that these people are being true to you. My previous friend was one of the greatest friends I've had in this lifetime, and I kid you not, it didn't take a while for me to consider her as a true friend to me. But because it didn't work out, things had to go the way they go at that particular point, and we were not most knowledgeable to manage the conflict, and that was it. So it doesn't make her a bad person per se. The friendship had to just end in the way it did. I think the friendship was part of those ones that would teach us lessons, because life is some people come to teach you lessons, some people would come to break you, but some people will come to bless you. So it depends on you, how discerning you are. If anyone is not sure about their conviction about people, then they should give it time. And time can be any moment. You can be close to people, relate with them, but they should be able to. It doesn't have to be 1 year. It doesn't have to be 3 months. It doesn't have to be 6 months. If they have been able to prove to you, you hear how they keep other people's confidential information, how they are not easy to give out details about other people, things that are confidential that these people shared with them, then you will know that they are also not going to be able to share your own because who they are with you is who they will be with others outside there. Yes. So it's not tied to time, it's tied to individuals, how they are able to prove themselves worthy of being true friends, and how you're able to discern, do they align with your purpose? Are they friends with virtue you want to possess, or virtue you have and you want to maintain? Because friends will affect 98% of your life. It doesn't matter how strong-willed you are. So you must be intentional about being sure that you know them. That's why I wrote in my book, start from acquaintanceship level. Get to know people, hear them speak, find out how they do things, watch them do things. Do they usually finish what they start, or they usually leave it on the wayside? What is their reasons? Find out trivial things. It's from the slightest and tiniest things that you will know people's truest nature.
Thank you very much, our listeners out there. I hope you've heard. It's not tied to time, it's tied to individuals, those who can prove to you that they are worth it, those who can win your heart, win your trust, especially those who won't just opt and leave when things go south. Thank you so much, Ella. We are grateful for your time. So one last thing, do you have any advice for people out there who feel they cannot find true friends, those people who have been hurt in the past and don't know how to move on, don't know how to open up to people, don't even know how they begin their healing process, because we do not know the intention of other people we come across? So what advice do you give to them? How should they move on? Will they ever find that true friend? Is it possible? What should they put in place to avoid past events from repeating itself? What advice do you have for those people out there who feel all hope have been lost in finding true people, genuine people who are not just after the money, after the fame, after the good pictures and the night out, but those who be there in good times and in bad times, who walk us through our trying moments and come out with smiles, those who will smile with us and laugh with us and cry with us? What advice do you have for those people?
It's a pleasure to have this conversation. So my word to anyone who desire a good friend, a true friend in their life, the right friends, because sometimes it doesn't have to be just one person, is that you should become one. You should become one. The moment you become a true friend, you can start practicing with your siblings. Become a true friend to your siblings first. Become a true friend to yourself. Treat yourself well, with dignity and honor. Because if you don't know how to honor yourself, if you don't know how to respect yourself, if you don't know how to be honest with people who already love you before you even desire to have friends, then there is likelihood that you will not also know how to treat the right friends, the true friends, when you encounter them. So start with yourself, start being the right friends. One thing about life is that it's not like the magnetic field where all light charges attract. In life, light charges attract. If you are a true friend, you always attract people who are genuine, people who are kind. And mind you, some people who are true have been unlucky with friends, but it is not you that is the problem, it is them. Possibly, I would advise you get the book on friendship. You might get mine, or even other books other people have written on friendship. Read it, because sometimes our ideology of friendship might not be entirely what is accepted in the principle that guides relationship and friendship. So you need to understand, to be sure that you're not doing something wrong. Be sincere to yourself. If you have flaws, work on them. Don't wave them off and start saying, I am this way, if you want, you accept me, if you don't want, you leave me. Work on your flaws and keep on believing, keep on loving. Definitely one day you'll find the right friend in your life if you don't stop looking. And for those who have been hurt, betrayed and abandoned and ghosted by people they have high regards for as friends, I need you to understand that You should not allow people's attitude change who you are. They have become who they have chosen who they want to be, and you are the person you are. So choose yourself to be the right person. Choose to be the good person. And one thing about life is that what goes around will surely come around. If you are the good person, goodness and good people would find their way into your circle. And friends are not tied to age, they're not tied to gender, they're not tied to race, class and all that. Open your mind, stop looking down on people. The person that will be truest friend to you might not be so experienced, they might not be popular, but the most important thing is that they are there for you. They are willing to commit, they are willing to follow, and you also, you are willing to give, you are willing to commit, you are willing to reciprocate. One thing I dedicated a chapter in my book, and I wrote on is commit first. Be the first to commit. Don't say, when they show me kindness, that's when I will not show them. No. That thing you require from people, give it first, and it will come back to you in folds. Thank you so much, Tosi.
Whew, this session was deep. Did you feel it? Because I felt it. I think friendship is it is an important part in everybody's life. There's no one that would say they don't need a friend, like a genuine friend, someone they can rely on, they can share a lot of things in common with and all that. We all need people in our lives. Thank you so much, Ella. If you haven't gotten the book, The True Art of Friendship, please people, you should. Let's learn one or two. Don't be following those people that say true friends are those that will plug your phone when you're asleep, and then the ones that are not true are the ones that will disconnect your phone when you're asleep. Please, we should look beyond that. Nobody is perfect, but then people will stick with you, who will walk with you, who will cry with you, who will laugh with you, are those genuine people. Thank you so much, Ella, for today's session. I am grateful. We are grateful. It's nice to hear your thoughts about life. Thank you for sharing your experiences. My God, you've touched me a lot, but then I'm glad we've learned, and then we'll do better. Thank you so much, Ella.
Thank you so much, Tosi. I had a beautiful time having this conversation. I enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you to all the team at Poemify, especially the founder, Poemify, my good friend. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here to talk about my book, to talk about something I love to share with humanity. Thank you so much. And to my listeners, thank you so much for listening. You are my very important person for having stayed to this level. Thank you so much. And I will see you at the top with the amazing circle of friends you have built. Remember, your friends are people your children will call connection tomorrow. So whatever kind of circle you build today is your net worth. Beyond money, there are rooms you will not access except you have connection or you are friends with some certain people. So keep on building connection through ones. Don't be too strategic. Don't go out there being strategic with people. Be sincere as much as you can, and you will receive so much than you've given. It is the principle of life. Thank you once again.
Okay. Now that is a wrap on today's session. I learned a lot. I did. So please, people, don't just judge your friends because they did not plug your phone when there was light. They disconnected it to plug in their own phone. That is not the base on which we choose or we know the true friends. Let them prove that they be with you through thick and thin. And true friendship or true friends, it's not about how long you've known them. It's not about how long you know them. It's not about how many years you've known them. But people who are able to prove to you that you can trust on them, you can lean on them. You get. So right now, look into your circle. If there are people that you're not honest with, just know they're not your friends. If there are people that will not tell you the truth, this is an important something. If you know they will not tell you the truth, please, just shift small. shift more. Please get The Art of True Friendship, the book, The Art of True Friendship, and please, let's learn more about how we can relate and choose our friends, and most importantly, be the right friend for our friends. Hello, bye, see ya next week. I remain your host, Oluwatosin Isaac. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Poemify podcast. We hope you enjoyed every bit of it. Did you? If yes, do well to share with your art-loving friends. It's the least you can do for art's sake, you know. See you on the next episode.